Welcome to Wheels Wednesday. We got a little bit of a twist on what we're doing today. We're looking at a nice larger car. I got this at Ollie's, not AliExpress, but Ollie's for $15.99. It's Robotech. On the front it says Miriya or Miriya, I can't remember, I think it's Miriya, Sterling, and a 2020 Toyota Supra, which is ironic because she's from the year before 2020 or several years before, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I've watched Robotech, but I always was like shocked that we actually surpassed the years that Robotech was supposed to be set in, but I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm remembering Star Blazer or something else that's very similar in my memory. But I did love watching Robotech. Miriya Sterling, for instance, is married to Max Sterling. I didn't look that up. I remember this. This was made in about 2022 because it's got years from here to here. So I'm going to assume it is. You've got to bring a screwdriver and a lot of patience. And I'll show you how extremely annoying. I was trying to make a video where I could just take it off the thing, but I got so impatient. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is a waste of time watching me trying to unscrew this thing. On the back, we got, I am Zendrati's greatest pilot and will not be humiliated by my crony. And now she was a fighter pilot, fell in love with Max Sterling, who is a Macronian. Now, Zendrati are sworn enemies of the Macronians in the original Macross. Eventually, they strike a peace deal. The females in their species and them never even thought of interacting, and when they see them kiss, it freaks them out. It's really interesting. So their daughter, though, Dana Sterling, she has blonde hair, so it's really strange that a blue-haired guy, Max, and a green-haired woman, you know, Miriya, have a blonde-haired, you know, average-looking human being for a child. She's in the final one, or I knew she's in the one with the hover tank. She's the one with the hover tank because I had her action figure and everything. All right, so her gender is female. This is her original Zendrati name, and then her Japanese name is Miriya Felina, whatever, I can't. She has green eyes and green hair. This woman is totally green. So let's put this box over to the side. I do want to keep it and put it back into the box. The background art looks amazing too, so I don't want to just jump right into the car. This art is great. This is one of those Zendrati Invid Scout Troopers, I'm pretty sure, the green ones. My personal toys of these are purple and then I think more of a kind of a reddish color, like a radish color actually. And then we see in the back the not the Alpha Fighters, that's much later. This is the Macross Valkyrie. I get it mixed up because in America it's Veritech, but in Japan it's Valkyrie. So all right, so coming off of the thing, it took forever to unscrew this. I don't know why they had to put long screws like this into it. You know, not just a little twist release things. That would be great. Then the figure herself came with extremely long screws. It went up into her feet. But she does seem to stand on her own pretty well. She is made out of metal mostly, except obviously her arms are made out of spaghetti. Let's take a look at this, close it up. We got her face. Looks pretty good for a small figure like this. You might be saying, well, how small is she? She's so small that, oh wait, this is not a comedy, you know, joke, but let's just look at her beautiful art first. On her back, she's got painted silver backpack, which is probably, you know, the jump pack in case her plane gets knocked down. I love the helmet. I kind of wish I could take that off and put it on her head, but if I try to cut that off, it's going to cut her hand off. But the helmets are great. I had the original Rick Hunter 12-inch doll, and I think I only have his helmet still, unfortunately, but I was trying to clean the helmet and it got separated from him. Her head is also made out of a plastic, a very soft plastic. So this arm is a soft plastic, but the metal, I guess it's this whole part right here. And her feet have got long screw holes in them and some information on the bottom. All right, so you're asking, how tall is she? Let's find out. So in everybody else's standards, she is about 7, almost 8 centimeters tall, which means she is actually pretty darn close to the Micro Man figures from 1999. She is 3 inches tall, our standard, so she is pretty close to 1/18 scale. Here is our favorite Micro Man, well, the geek, which is my favorite, Edison, and I hope she's not bugged by him, but they do have matching green. Now, can she sit down in the car? I don't think she can. Unfortunately, no, she doesn't want to sit down. She is standing straight up and I'm getting a sore throat. Probably from yelling at the car, like, why can't you be easy to pull off of here? But she is made in scale with this. Now, If she's 3 inches tall, you take 72 and divide it by 3, and it's 24. So there's nothing marking the box of how big this vehicle is, but we always can figure this out. We take the length of this and divide it by its original length. You can figure it out from there. Now, a person is 72 inches tall. This is 3 inches tall, so that makes it pretty easy. 72 divided by 3 is 24. Also, it seems like Jada, who made this with Crunchyroll and Harmony Gold, they always seem to make 1/24 scale. Now, I'm just now looking on the bottom for the first time. It's got the number, it's got the scale, which is, I am right, 1/24. Is the 2020 Toyota GR Supra. This vehicle body is used by permission in 1985, which is, of course, when Robotech was introduced into America from the original Macross series. It was actually 3 series in Japan, but the Macross series is what she's from. She's in the first group, and then her daughter's in the second group, and then there's a completely, seems like unrelated, with Scott Bernard being the main protagonist in the 3rd series. All right, so Jada Toys. It's got some nice rubber tires. Now, one of the things I don't like about 1/24 scale is there's no steering. Like, if you try to move the steering wheel, it's not going to affect the tires. So that's like, oh, they cut corners for the smaller ones. I don't know what happened to 1/18 scale cars, but I'm ready for those to make a comeback. All right, so the doors open all the way out nicely on both sides. Looks like the trunk opens. Oh, yes, it does. You can put your steering. Can she lay in the back? Nope. But you can put your stuff in the back, like the thing that you have to put. No, that doesn't fit. All right, so I'm going to keep it in the box and put it back in the box when I'm done, because the box is beautiful. It's got some great art on it, or in it, I should say. Not so much on the front of the box. Okay, the hood pops up, and you can see some scruffed up paint, man. I don't know what happened right here. It is very scuffed up on the inside. I don't know what they did. Maybe that's why it was on clearance, because if you pop that hood, it is not a pretty sight. There is some scuffed up paint on in there, and it doesn't look like it's from this. All right, so I know what you're asking, and I'm having the same question too. Can Micro Man fit in this? Now, it's not going to fit probably a G.I. Joe figure, but it's 1/24 scale, and he's pretty close to 1/24. I consider him 1/18 scale because he is part of he's a descendant of the Micro Hood Man. Although, I guess, honestly, technically, he's a 1/1 scale. He's got the big feet. That's going to make it a little bit hard. Let's see if I can crouch him in a little bit to get him to slide it underneath all that stuff. Well, when I get the feet to go in, now it's getting those shoulders. He's got these big shoulder pads because he was on Dynasty for a few years. And everybody wore shoulder pads on that movie. Well, mostly the women, but I guess he wanted to fit in with them. All right, can't quite get him to fit in there, unfortunately, but that's because he is, again, really more 1/18 scale, or I guess honestly technically 1/1 scale, because that's how big he is in real life. Supposedly he's supposed to be living under your bed, basically. If you ever watch the Japanese cartoon, which I cannot find it, and nobody's ever subtitled it in English that I'm aware of. I would love to get it, but this was back in 1999 before we had high-speed internet, at least before I did. I mean, I was just getting into the internet about then. Oh well, I thought maybe he can at least sit on this side so there's no dash with the steering wheel and everything. So he won't fit, but I'm sure that there's some figures that I can figure out which ones will fit into this. If not, it is a beautiful car in its own aspects and own looks. So we got the logo on the side for you and Spacey in America, Macross in Japan. We got a nice little paint job which is matching her suit. I think, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think her jet, I'm having a hard time remembering because I don't think their jets are that color coordinated. I don't think, like, you know, they don't match their jets as well as their suits. Not like Voltron, which is actually not also, because the blue line was really, you know, the princess had a pink suit, but she had a blue line. And then, of course, Keith had a red suit, but he piloted the black line. So that was the 2 people that made the exception to that. I don't like how the tires aren't put on very well. I mean, look at that. That's a hazard ready to happen. All right. So are they rubber? They're rubber, but they're kind of on the harder side. Okay, we got the front. We got clear plastic for the headlights. We got the Toyota symbol on the front right here. This part is black. I don't know if that's true in real life. These are runner lights. They need a little bit of paint there. In the back, we have her Zendrati last name before she got married. We have red clear plastic for the brake lights. Nice touch. We got chrome for the muffler and the tailpipes. I do like the plate. That's a nice touch right there. But she is married, and they did have a daughter. So, in the American show. Now, I don't know about in Japan. I don't think they had. I don't know. They may have had a baby, and they never did show the baby growing up because it was a completely different series that they adopted for the second series, which was like set 20 years later. Got the gas caps, but are those gas caps? Because they're on both sides. And it's also up here. So I think it's just the design, which kind of looks like Robotech parts, like where the joints are. Yeah, overall, I mean, it's a really nice car. $15.99. It's about a normal standard price for a car by itself, made by Jada Toys in this scale. I have bought some for $12.99 from Walgreens, and about this much for the pink slips, up to like $19.99 up at Walmart. Plus, you're getting a figure of, well, one of our heroes. Now, they did have Max Sterling, and I want to say Rick Hunter was the other one they had. So check those out. So her presence was right here when I bought it. I actually would like to figure out a way to stand her up right here and keep her stand up when I slide her back in the box. So I have to figure that out. Maybe if I slide her like this, that might hold her in place. Nope. No, she's pretty heavy. I mean, she's not going to just lean up against something and not, you know, go all the way down. Nah. I need to figure out a way to do that because I would like to have her standing more like this beside of her car instead of looking like she's getting run over by her car. All right, and that background looks really cool. It looks really good. Of course, she's not flying in space in this thing, although you could imagine that. I used to imagine when I was all into this when I was a kid and when I first got my first car, that my car transformed kind of like the GoBots did. The hood came down, this part came down, and it plugged in. Mine didn't transform like things coming out. Mine just kind of grabbed onto the mech, kind of like, and this was before that show came out, the You Like Giant Robots. I love giant robots. That show, what was it? XR or something. It was a Cartoon Network show about these two dudes and a space girl that drove a car-headed robot. Kind of like that. I mean, but this was actually became the chest. This became like the back, and then there was a framework already there for the arms and the legs and stuff. And that's the way I always imagined that my car did, which was not like this one. It had a little bit shorter front. But I don't know. I mean, that's me personally. I don't know if you've ever dreamed of your car turning into a robot or becoming part of a robot. And then I also dreamt it would become a skateboard whenever I was driving to school. When I was in college, I'd imagine it sliding on the rails that I would come across every day. There was these guardrails, and I was like, I wanted to pop the front up and just grind the rails. But I didn't. I resisted that temptation. We all have a great day today, and let me know if you picked up any of these. Did you pick up Max Sterling, Rick Hunter? Was there other ones? Because I only saw 3 at the store I was at, and that was in Rockingham, which is, of course, got a speedway. All right, y'all have a fantastic and wonderful Wednesday.